Character customization comes within a significant portion of games today, be it in the form of selecting an avatar from a list or sculpting a character's face shape with your own hands. Even the smallest amount of customization will affect a player's immersion. This immersion is a fundamental aspect of creating gamer loyalty. First, let's take a step back and explain character customization. Before the advent of video games, character customization was a key element of tabletop role-playing games, like Dungeons & Dragons in 1974. A character's mental, psychological, and social attributes, physical appearance, and possessions were usually recorded on paper or in a zero-dimensional, continuous space within the mind. This amount of detail allows the player significant control over their character and a wide range of possible experiences. A player's character is either a representation of the player themselves, something they desire, an aspirational figure, an aesthetic, or something that appeals to them. Gamer loyalty. What is it, and why does it matter? Gamer loyalty is a gamer's intention to play a certain online game repetitively. We can see why this matters to developers, but how is it achieved? Well, this all amounts to the driving forces behind gamer loyalty: customization and immersion satisfaction. Through the ability to customize a character, one has created an entity that will represent them. Immersion is satisfied when the player's desire to explore, roleplay, or escape reality are fulfilled. This collectively will influence whether or not the game will be the player's first choice out of many other games, as well as their intention to play it frequently and to continue playing for at least several months. So you have this player base, each individual with a varying amount of commitment to the game, a community. This social aspect of immersion is about an existing community like one would have in person but within the game world and within meta-interaction. Meta-interaction is a form of interactivity that exists outside of the game space. This includes all forms of fan-created content that enhance the playing experience and give players the chance to show off unique customizations with their community. In cases where the community feels a game is enjoyable and worth playing but falls short in terms of customization or visual opportunities, mods containing content and texture packs will appear. Content may include stylistic changes, usually skewing closer to photorealism or more risque clothing styles that the developer of the game would have never included. Oftentimes, the content pack may contain features that the fan creator desires in order to express themselves better through the game. This fan content can be found through fan-hosted sites or through the developers themselves with communities such as Steam Workshop. Which of the two and whether there are any mods at all will depend on the developer's viewpoint on the situation. Some games will be easy to mod for, with developers providing assets or tools to the player directly, while others will be difficult, with intentionally complex programming and anti-data mining measures. In the end, the question of a player's agency versus the developer's control and choice over the experience is at the heart of how customizable a game is. The developer, when considering implementing character customization, will need to factor in the style of a game. Is it 2D or 3D? How photorealistic is it? Will a tiny nudge in either direction send the game careening off into the uncanny valley? Do you want to tell a specific story with specific characters, or would you prefer the player generate themselves? These factors will determine how much freedom the developer chooses to give in character creation. These limits can expose some preconceptions from the point of view of the developer about what the player will find appealing or representative. For example, certain skin colors may not be available, or players may think of only one preset option as visually appealing, leading to homogeneity in the multiplayer space. As another example of a game's customization being limited, as well as expanded upon by a fan community, we will take a look at The Sims 4. The base art style of The Sims 4 has a distinct cartoony look, above that of previous Sims games, and while there are a variety of customization options, even allowing for a limited selection of tattoos, one thing that is a constant among Sims in the same age ranges is their height. With the variety of character interactions, the addition of variable heights may cause some problems and are a technological feat to both model and program. More common are texture or content packs, altering the style of the game to such an extent that it is nearly unrecognizable. This radical change in visual mods may be related to the game's focus on customization extended to even the game's art style by the fans. However, compositional and technological limits are not all that can pose a problem to creators and developers, but social ones too. Generally seen in MOBA games are preset skins. They are obtained either through purchase or achievement in the game. These skins, particularly exclusive and limited time ones, can be seen as status symbols, a show of affluence, skill, or dedication to the game with their willingness to spend time and/or money. League of Legends is an example of this model and also once had a community of creative fan-made custom skins as well. League of Legends skins were once customizable and only the player with the modification could view them in-game. However, after Riot Games, the developers, made changes to their third-party applications policy, they were no longer allowed. This policy change was in response to players using other third-party applications to make their playing experience more convenient and easier, which resulted in an unfair advantage or a potentially negative, at-risk environment for other players. The result? A more regulated, safer environment to reduce unfair, disadvantaged gameplay at the cost of the player's expression and this particular form of creativity and meta-interaction. To see an example of a game on the easier end of the spectrum, we will take a look at Minecraft. Minecraft is a game that encourages creativity in both within the gameplay and the construction of the game itself. The blocky structure and character models will almost never change. More common will be texture packs, changing the overall look of the game, including the player character. A separate program adds the ability to create skins for the player character, beyond the two available as default. Another example of highly customizable games, although not to the extent of fan-created modifications, are MMOs or MMORPGs. These games focus on the customization of the character's appearance to great detail. Character customization is implemented in multiplayer-centric games more often than single-player games, as creating a unique experience for each player in real time is a necessity. Korean MMOs Blade & Soul and Black Desert Online have complex customization, but Black Desert in particular was advertised for its diverse character creation system that had thorough and detailed sliders for aspects to modify, particularly the face. Since so many aspects were available for the player to toy with, this allows many creative and unique options, as stated earlier in the video. A player's character is either a representation of the player themselves, something they desire, an aspirational figure, an aesthetic, or something that appeals to them. Of course, appeal can apply to humor too. Whether an RPG, simulation, or online multiplayer game, the ability to influence your character's appearance affects the player's ability to self-express. These forms of interaction and motivations from the player create a reason for the player to commit to the game, whether through time or money, so they can further cultivate their character, the representation of themselves.